Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Lesson 31 in the Course in Miracles. I am not the victim of the world I see. Today's idea is the introduction to your declaration of release. Again, the idea should be applied to both the world you see without and the world you see within. In applying the idea, we will use a form of practice which will be used more and more, with changes as indicated. Generally speaking, the form includes two aspects. One in which you apply the idea on a more sustained basis, and the other consisting of frequent applications of the idea throughout the day. Two longer practice periods with the idea for today are needed, one in the morning and one at night. 3 to 5 minutes for each of these is recommended. During that time, look about you slowly while repeating the idea 2 or 3 times. Then close your eyes and apply the same idea to your inner world. You will escape from both together, for the inner is the cause of the outer. As you survey your inner world, merely let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness, each to be considered for a moment and then replaced by the next. Try not to establish any kind of hierarchy among them. Watch them come and go as dispassionately as possible. Do not dwell on any one in particular, but try to let the stream move on evenly and calmly without any special investment on your part. As you sit and quietly watch your thoughts, repeat today's idea to yourself as often as you care to, but with no sense of hurry. In addition, repeat the idea for today as often as possible during the day. Remind yourself that you are making a declaration of independence in the name of your own freedom. And in your freedom lies the freedom of the world. The idea for today is also particularly useful to use as a response to any form of temptation that may arise. It is a declaration that you will not yield to it and put yourself in bondage. And that is the end of Lesson 31. I am not the victim of the world I see. And so if you can imagine this practice period as being something like sitting in an airport or laying on the ground and looking at clouds. You can watch the clouds drift by and you can notice the shapes that they take, but you don't get particularly attached to any of them. In the same way, you could sit at an airport or a bus station or on the street corner and watch cars and people go by, but you don't become attached to any of them. And then you may notice there's a couple fighting. You may notice that there's someone crying. You may notice that there are two people in love. You may notice clouds that remind you of your favorite pet or a favorite flower. But you don't have to attach to any of those, and you can realize that I am not the victim of the world I see. I am simply the observer. And this kind of practice will really help you as you engage in the world later on. It's helping us to reframe how we approach life, because this is a world, again, of projection of our thoughts, and we have a lot of them. Okay, let's see what Tina Spalding channels with Jesus. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. This is a lesson I taught to my disciples while on the cross. That is what I was teaching them, that I am not the victim of the world as you see it. In that great lesson, that great teaching and learning opportunity, many of those beings who followed me could not assimilate the lesson. They could not believe that I was not being victimized, that I was not suffering. I was standing firm in my elevated consciousness above the battleground, and I knew, even though it was a great challenge, a great act of discipline on my part, that I did not need to suffer. My mind could assess the situation accurately and choose to move through that experience without the pain, suffering, and despair of the martyr. That is not what I was doing, and that is why it has been so hard for you to understand in your society. It was an extremely sophisticated lesson for the beings who were in front of me. This lesson was not designed for the world necessarily, although it has become so. In the time and place when I was in the physical incarnation that you know as Jesus, I was teaching my students. I taught them and showed them my abilities to overcome the physical and material world, and that, indeed, I was not being victimized. I chose to go through a very dramatic teaching and learning experience for their benefit. However, only a couple of those disciples integrated that information into their minds. But that is okay. One mind changed is enough. One mind healed is enough. One mind in alignment with truth is more powerful than 10,000 minds in fear, cowering in the corner, afraid to stand up and be counted. Do not allow yourself to be victimized by your beliefs. You are not a victim of the world you see. It is a reflection of your consciousness rushing toward you in order for you to understand what is going on inside of you. If it seems to attack you, look where you attack yourself and others. Examine where you attack principles, ideas, politicians, countries, creeds, or money. Whatever you attack, know that it will reflect back to you in a world that seems to attack you. We heal your mind from the deepest levels with these teachings, and we want you to know that it brings great love to you. Many of you feel that now, a month into gathering together, you are going to see that you are not so quick to judge or attack, that perhaps you open a door for someone when before you would have charged through. Perhaps you find yourself sitting quietly contemplating ideas because you have decided to give yourself space to do these lessons. And after the lessons, you enjoy sitting in your armchair with the radio, phone, and television off. You find that being with yourself is much more agreeable because the mind you are experiencing has calmed down a little bit. It is not so fractious. We love you very much, and we will be here with you every single day. Every day we nudge this being, and she knows this is her assignment this year. So do not despair. If you miss a lesson, do your forgiveness practice and make it up as soon as you can. We will speak to you again tomorrow. And that's the end of lesson 31 from Jesus. These are very deep lessons, and what a powerful story for Jesus to say that he was trying to teach that he was not a victim of the world that he was living in. He was not the victim of the world that they were seeing. He did not suffer the martyr's death. We can have many things happen to us, but it is our own free will to choose how we go through those experiences. And I do have to say, I have seen, as a hospice nurse, many people who are going through the grieving process. And I have one particular person who is so attuned and so grateful for life, and her attitude is not one of being a victim. And despite the grief, despite the missing of the physical being, she is so grateful for everything that has happened, is happening, and may happen in the future. She is happy and grateful for the lessons. She has the moments when the waves of grief fall over her, and she honors those moments, and she misses that being that has left her. But if we could choose to not become the martyr and look at me and woe is me through everything that is difficult, it would change the experience. And this revolves around everything. I am watching another person who has gone through some crazy things this year, and she has the strength. And while she has those moments of, why is this happening to me? She has chosen instead to learn the lessons. And so despite the difficulties, it being a great challenge, she is rising to her own occasion, and she is becoming more true and a more accurate version, a more authentic version of who she truly is. And so I encourage you to look at those places in your life where you feel victimized, and to allow yourself to simply witness the lessons, love yourself enough to change the way that you are thinking about the world. Use it as a lesson, use it as an aha. I'm feeling like I'm victimized, so I am attacking myself and others, or others. Good luck with this today. Take your time with it, be with it, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye.